Welcome to the Avanti Women and Panasonic speaker series. Today we're going to interview one of our members, Lisa Manzo, where we're going to discover her recipe for success. This month's theme is love and rejuvenation. Let's welcome our member, Lisa, and learn a little bit more about her today.
Thank you, Dina.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And we'd really love to hear more about who you are and what you represent, Lisa.
Well, I own a holistic wellness center in Toronto called PurEnergy Wellness Lofts, and we primarily deal with holistic services in the whole realm of dealing with mind, body, soul connection. So we definitely heal the body through natural nutrition and whole foods, as well as physical fitness, both energy out classes and energy in classes. We focus on wellness and spiritual aspect, that being guided meditation and really focusing on being present, lots of self-love and relaxation, restoring yourself, and really giving women and men permission to just relax and let go.
I love it. So letting go, tell us more about letting go and how that's linked to love and rejuvenation.
So I feel that in, living in metropolitan city, we really tend to live a go lifestyle, and 10 to 1 we just don't ever let go. We don't ever really relax because we're always on the go. So really giving yourself permission to take that time for yourself, to relax, rejuvenate is really important. And it's really important for self-love because most people find that they feel guilty to let go, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
It does.
Especially owning a business. It tends to be very, if I let go, if I relax, I'm not progressing, I'm not being productive. But when in actuality, you're actually being more efficient with your time and more productive because you're giving your body the time to relax and rejuvenate so that you're more creative and that you're able to exuberate more energy and more positivity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. And I really love that, you're a business owner, you're a mom, you really are a good role model for women, just very well-rounded. And, when you think about women and love, can we talk a little bit about what are you seeing in that wellness field? What are some of those barriers women are facing? So, what are they facing and how do we overcome them? Because it's really about loving ourselves.
Definitely. And you know what? That's really funny that you said that because especially for females, there's a lot of barriers and a lot of obstacles that they have to overcome when it comes to self-love. And I know because, this was me in my past, and it still continues to be something that I need to remind myself. Definitely it's a work in progress. But I find that specifically for females, when they are in a relationship, whether that be a boyfriend, a fiance, a spouse, and then becoming a mother, it's a lot of giving yourself to others and not giving yourself to yourself. Yeah. So to be able to love yourself is something that is work, but something that is needed for you to be able to give a positive exchange to other people. And that's what we need to focus on because most people feel that if I love myself, I'm guilty because I'm being selfish. But it's not being selfish because how can you give the best of you if you don't feel the best yourself?
Absolutely.
Right?
I agree. And so how does a woman find that balance around, we work so hard, we have family commitments, and making that time for love? Like, what is it that Pure Energy represents, and where is it that we can bring some of that love component and that rejuvenation? Because I do really see those working hand in hand. Like, how can we work that into our daily routine?
I tell women specifically to do something every day for themselves because they deserve it. Whatever that is that makes them happy. Do something that makes you feel really happy to be alive. If that's a walk in nature, if that's, engaging in a beautiful, relaxing, rejuvenating yoga session. That's another thing when it comes to fitness. People feel that they have to pound their bodies in order to be fit or in order to feel good. And it's actually the reverse. It's actually engaging in something that you feel. So let's say you wake up that day and you feel, I have a lot of energy, I want to exuberate that energy. Then you partake in a high energy class. But if it's something that you feel like you need to work on inside, you need to do a yoga class in a candlelight setting. Or you need to do restorative yoga where you're just okay to lie in different sleeping positions and work on your nervous system and your adrenal glands.
Yeah.
And I feel like we go against what our body truly wishes for ourselves as opposed to going with what we feel. But definitely doing something every day that you really love and knowing that it's okay to do that and not feeling guilty and saying no to things that don't serve your higher good. And that's something that's really important. That's something that I had to learn, is that, you know, if it doesn't serve your higher good, you shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be compromising who you are and giving and overextending yourself for other people, because that's not pleasing them, and it's definitely not pleasing you, and it will cause feelings of resentment.
Yes.
And that's going against what happiness is. And it's really funny because I read an author, Stephen Covey, he's a famous author, that actually talks about priorities and what that means, and really setting your highest priorities and knowing to have the courage to pleasantly, non-apologetically say no to things that just don't serve your higher good.
You're absolutely right. And I would definitely endorse any of Stephen Covey's books because they are very good from all perspectives,
Yes.
both personally and professionally. So yeah, I think there's some good things out there. And so while we're on the topic of resources, you know, as we look at love and rejuvenation, what would you recommend to women around where do we find these resources or apps where we can look to bring this to other women? What would you recommend?
Well, there's a such an array of different books. I mean, I love chapters. For me, just to be able to stroll around in chapters is something that I do for myself. It's something that I love to do. But there's a book called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay that is one of my favorite. It actually was one of the game changers for me.
Awesome.
And it talks a lot about self-love. It talks a lot about really investing in yourself, and investing in yourself more than just going to seminars or going to a networking event, which are equally as important, but investing yourself spiritually and connecting with yourself. Most people, especially women, they don't really know who they are. So sitting in a room, get rid of our electronics and sitting in a room with ourselves, journaling and understanding who we are, and healing ourselves comes from the fact that the more and more we can grow a relationship with ourselves in terms of respecting who we are, loving certain things about ourselves, understanding that our achievements are what they are and our failings make us better, and not looking at them as a negative aspect, we can really exuberate a lot more happiness to ourselves and to others.
Yeah.
And healing ourselves means that when we have emotional blockages, that's what actually causes sickness.
Yeah.
It's called dis-ease. So once we can really dive into the emotions that we feel and not be uncomfortable with them, then we can actually get rid of these dis-eases in our body and heal ourselves. So it actually ends up always being about self-love, because then we have greater self-esteem.
Yeah,
You know?
I hear what you're saying, and that really resonates with me around the disease. And can we maybe talk a little bit more around your rejuvenation? You know, what do you recommend women do to rejuvenate? I heard you talk about spending time at chapters, and I think we do like that. Doing one thing for yourself, maybe from the angle of a wellness perspective. What are some other things can we do to help rejuvenate and help get that self-love going?
Definitely. So starting to partake, some of the services that we offer at PurEnergy Wellness Lofts is guided meditation. So a lot of people are uncomfortable with the meditation, don't really know where to start or how to begin, but partaking in an hour session where you're guided by a meditation practitioner will actually help start that self-love process, because it's a time for you, a time to hone in on who you are and what you like and what you desire. And also what comes with that is a massage. Why not engage in a one-on-one massage?
You got me at massage.
That's okay. It's okay.
It's great.
It's okay to take time to pamper yourself, and if that pampering, tends to be once a month or once a week, it doesn't really matter. Reiki is another thing that some people don't know too much about, but it's a energy healing modality that really focuses on your different energy beings and the different chakras that alleviate such blockages that make you feel incredible. And when you leave, most people don't know how to explain the feeling, but it's actually bliss. The feeling of feeling light and very positive and very at ease is actually the feeling of bliss, because we're lifting off those blockages and heaviness that we bear day in and day out, especially as females, with everything that we have going on. So really starting to take a step outside of the box, and looking at what else is there besides that physical aspect, where we tend to be, especially type A personalities, tend to be very grounded, tend to be very pounding the pavement, really in our bodies. But there's so much more to being grounded and in our bodies that we need to focus on. We need to look over and out, where the universe brings certain things to us if we just allow for it, if we just allow to let go. But it's such an, it's such an area that most people don't know too much about, that if they started to really come in and hone in on that, they would be open to a world of a different change for themselves.
I love it. That's great. So let's talk a little bit about you and what your recipe for success has been. We'd love to share with other members what Lisa Manzo has done to acquire not only the PurEnergy Lofts, but also success in terms of getting there. And then how do you manage it?
Definitely. Well, I got really excited when I was asked to do, the topic of love and rejuvenation, because one of my key recipes for success is actually love. It's unconditional love. It's love what you do. It's do small things with great love. So I really, to talk a little bit more about that self-love is to really hone in on the self-love and really focus more on who you are and what you want to give to others, but also to know that it's okay to slip from time to time, and know that that is a working progress. No one is perfect, and we have to keep reminding ourselves to come back, to be grounded, to be focused, to be centered, and to maybe look at a situation and say, how does this serve my higher good, right? So sometimes we do need to stop ourselves and say, okay, I'm not a machine, and we are not meant to continuously work ourselves past the point of exhaustion, because it doesn't do you good or anybody else good. So definitely it's something that I have to keep reminding, because taking a break is very foreign to me. It's hard work. It is work. So for me, reminding myself of that and telling females especially that it's okay to keep reminding yourselves of that. And the one day that you forget, the next day it's a brand new day to remind yourself that you can do this, and you can relax and take the time for yourself, and you don't need to feel guilty. So I would say my biggest recipe for success is finding that self-love. Your intimate relationships will intensify, as will your friendships. And so you will feel and see a major change, because you end up honoring your mind-body-soul connection in an abundant of ways when you give yourself self-love.
And I really love that message there around that abundance, because for me that would lead to rejuvenation, that time for rest and just finding yourself and being at peace. I really love that.
And then in terms of rest and rejuvenation, it's better for your health. Right? It's better for your health, apart from the fact that you're more productive. And really honing in on nutrition. I know we talk a lot about, there's so much information out there about nutrition, and so much misguided information about what to eat and what calories to stay away from, and it's all negative. Don't do this. Don't eat bread. Don't eat carbs. Don't do... to the point where a person feels as if they've failed before they've even started. It's not about not doing something. It's not about giving up this or sacrificing. It's about looking at food and looking at it from an energy perspective. How is this food going to fuel me? How is it going to give me energy? When I eat it, when I look at it, does it seduce my eyes? Does it make me feel excited to eat it? Is it colorful? And that's what we need to hone in on. Those foods nourishing our bodies, and how we're going to do that, because when we give our body self-love, nutrition and loving food and growing a loving relationship with food is connected with that.
So, if you think now, you've been doing this for a few years. If you had to, consider yourself a superhero, who would you be?
Catwoman.
Catwoman, I love it.
Catwoman.
Why? We want to know.
It's funny, because for Halloween, years in the past, I've been Catwoman for like 4 years in a row, never really understanding why until, I got older. You know what? She doesn't have any supernatural powers, but I find that she is not only intelligent and athletic and agile and flexible, but her conduit and determination and positive attitude really, for me, is a symbol of feminine empowerment.
Excellent.
So it would be Catwoman,
Yeah, and how aligned with our values, since, Avanti's all about empowerment and development. So I want to thank you, Lisa, for your time today, and for everyone for joining us today on the Love and Rejuvenation for this month's special and our Avanti Women member. Please look at our website at www.avantiwomen.com for more information, and please follow us on Twitter at #AW Recipe for Success.